friends, welcome back to my channel. Come with me today to make my Swiss meringue buttercream recipe. It is my absolute favorite. I use it for all cakes, all orders, cupcakes, all that good stuff. It's so much better than American buttercream because it's not quite as sweet. It's silky smooth, holds a lot better than whipped cream. So let's get into it. For this, you're just gonna need eggs, butter, sugar, vanilla, salt, the basics. From the eggs, we will only be using the egg whites. I do prefer freshly cracked egg whites. They work a lot better. Before we get started, we're going to get our water heating up on the stove. And then we are going to place 5 egg whites in the bowl of your stand mixer. And you can wipe down your bowl with vinegar. Just spray a little vinegar onto some paper towel and wipe it down. That will also help because we are going to be whipping up our egg whites. Don't mind how terribly I cracked this egg here. Usually it's much better. So we got our 5 egg whites in there, and then we are going to be mixing that with 1 cup of sugar. And then we are going to add just a pinch of salt, I guess a little bit more than a pinch, kind of like maybe about 1/4 of a teaspoon, a little bit less. I usually just kind of eyeball it there. And then I like to whisk it up before I take it over to the stove where you've got your water boiling. And once you've got that going, you can place your stainless steel bowl on top of your pot of boiling water. I bought like a taller pot for this purpose to help out. I used to have a shorter one, but you don't want the bottom of your stainless steel bowl to be touching the water because then it could start scrambling your eggs, and you don't want scrambled eggs. You want a nice pretty meringue syrup. So make sure it's a taller pot, or I used to have to tilt my bowl so that it didn't touch the water in the bottom, but that's not ideal. So a taller bowl is best, like a little double boiler. And then you're going to mix that all up. And what you want is, if you feel the syrup mixture in between your fingers, you don't want to feel the little granules of sugar anymore. So it's going to be a nice blended, dissolved sugary syrup, okay? And then we'll put that on our stand mixer on low for a little bit. And then once our eggs start to be a little foamy, we can pop that whisk up to a speed 8 to 10, and then it's going to make this beautiful meringue here. Once your bowl is no longer super warm to the touch and you kind of have this pretty meringue here, marshmallow meringue that makes soft peaks, then you are good to go. Then you can start adding in your butter. So we'll put our stand mixer back on, but we'll put it on low. Look at those soft peaks. Oh, it is so pretty. So we're going to put it on low, and then you'll be adding in your butter, about a tablespoon or 2 at a time. And you're going to be needing a pound of butter, which is typically just 1 little box of butter there that you could get at the store. So that's 4 sticks. And you'll slowly add that in. You do always want your butter to be at room temperature. So if your butter is too cold, it's not going to whip up and incorporate very nicely. And then if it's too warm, you might end up with soupy buttercream. What's nice about Swiss meringue buttercream is it's always fixable. So if it is like too stiff, you can always heat it up. And if it's too soupy, you can always just put it in the fridge and then just re-whip it after all of that. So you can see it kind of looks soupy right now as I'm slowly incorporating. And then after I put in the last of my butter, we're going to pop that speed up to about medium and just let it whip out. And after it does that for a few minutes, then it'll really start coming together like a buttercream. But since you are whipping a lot of air into it, it's not going to be all smooth and silky quite yet. We'll have an extra step after this in order to get it nice and silky smooth. Once your buttercream is starting to come together there, now you can go ahead and add in your vanilla. We're doing about 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons. I like to just measure with my heart. And it is going to kind of change the color of your buttercream a little bit. So it's going to give it a little bit more of that yellowy tinge, along with the butter that went in is doing that as well. So if you ever want white buttercream, don't just use what's straight from the recipe. You'll want to add in some white food coloring. I do have an episode coming up on how to color your Swiss meringue buttercream because it's a little bit different than American buttercream, because of the oil base, the meringue base of it. So you want to use oil-based food coloring, or you'll have to heat treat, which I will show you all in a lovely video coming on up soon. And oh, look at that satisfying pull. I'm going to go ahead and switch over from the whisk to a different paddle attachment, because as you can see, we've incorporated a lot of air into the buttercream. but look at when it smooths out, it's so pretty. So to smooth it all out, I'm gonna go ahead and add in a paddle attachment and then just keep this thing on low for honestly 5 to 10 minutes. I got this little paddle attachment with all these bars going through it, and I feel like it knocks out the air pretty well in my buttercream. So we keep that going for a while and it'll smooth it out for you so that you don't have to pop all the air bubbles by hand with a spatula. And look at how smooth that is compared to when we first took the whisk out. It's not perfect, it didn't take out all the air bubbles, but it does a lot of the work for you. So since you already have a stand mixer to do the work, might as well let it do it. So it's nice and smooth and silky and just absolutely wonderful. So that is how you make your Swiss meringue buttercream. When you pipe with it, it's an absolute dream. You'll thank me later. It's a nice and easy recipe. Let me know if you try it. Let me know if you love it. It is so delicious. And I'll catch you guys next time on Clyde with a Chance of Sprinkles.